Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Shai Ba'Shem, Makakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, I may give it more than one title, but the first title, if it's more than one video, the first title would be, I'm speaking in Hebrew now, my Hebrew's rusty, but Anya, I'm going to say it slow, then I'm going to say it faster. Anya, rataza, macal, ahshar. Let me say it again. Anya, rataza, macal, ahshar. Anya, rataza, macal, ahshar. What I said was, I want a happy meal in Hebrew. And you're going to find out why I said this, okay? So that's the first title. The secondary title would be, what IUIC is doing to their followers is the same thing that Tazadaki did to his followers. Let me see if I can fit that all in. You know, I only got 100 characters to work with. But we knew that we were going back and forth. This is 08, 09, 2010. We're going back and forth with the so-called ICGJC. And we said that these guys sold out because they were pretty much slowly creeping in a Roman Catholic doctrine. They started teaching that Mary never had sex with Joseph. Matter of fact, she never had children at all. She's known as the ever virgin. I will look that up because I believe, like I said, well, wait a minute. This is they would call themselves what else? They would call themselves the apostolic succession, as opposed to temporal powers, which this guy, Michael, what's his name? Rivero of the Chick Publications. He was I believe he was a priest in Roman Catholic Church, maybe even higher up than that. And he got out and he pulled out the secrets and he said, in Roman Catholicism, the term apostolic succession means that you're sitting in the seat of the apostles. So one of you is sitting in the seat of Peter, one of you is sitting in the seat of Andrew, another one sitting in the seat of Matthew. You're just sitting in their seat, like in Genesis chapter 49. I believe you start at the 10th verse, 10th, 11th verse, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to go to it. But it says, the Lord giver. I should go to it. Let me go ahead and go to it. Okay. I was listening to part of a debate that Captain Zariak had with a so-called Christian, and they were arguing over this here. So the guy was saying, okay, it says Acts 17:30, and the times of this ignorant the Most High winked at, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent. So he said, well, that's talking about everybody. No, it's talking about Israelites. Because he said, well, the Lord has never winked at, let me look up the word wink. I'll get back into my subject. This is just a side note, if you want to call it that. Yeah, there's a lot of madness going, a lot of apostasy taking place. There's a lot of Israelites that's teaching, coming up with their own, like the hell doctrine. That's the thing now, the hell doctrine. They'll have the signs. They won't change the signs at all. Well, Nate did change the sign. He added some other nation to Gad. He said certain Gadites are in Africa, and they're looking like Hamites, and the tribe of Dan is among Benjamin. So he's waxing worse and worse. So we got to stay up on this, on false prophets. It said in the last days there should be false messiahs, right? False anointed that will deceive many. If it were possible to deceive the very elect. Okay, wink that. The word here is
Strong's G 5237. Huper arao. Huper arao. Thayer's Lexicon. Huper idon. Huper idon.
idol. To overlook, take notice of, not attend to. So they're saying, the guy's saying that the Most High always dealt with Israel immediately, which is not the case. Oh, one scripture that just came to mind. What is that? 2 Samuel 7:14. He winked at Solomon. Just came to mind. The Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's see if I can find that 2 Samuel's. So Captain Cesare, I could have went to this one. Because he did wink. He winked at, well, we got to go into the actual word, winked, overlooked. He overlooked Solomon. Solomon was doing all his wickedness. You know, he went off to the left-hand side, and the Most High said if he committed iniquity, he's going to chastise him with the the rod of men. That never happened. It happened. So when did it happen for you Christians out there? Because Solomon did go off, and he was an Israelite. The Most High was supposed to tax that ass, but he didn't. So, but did it ultimately happen? Yeah. You have to go into the topic of reincarnation. When he came back as Yahweh Shai, that's when he suffered the rod of stripes of men. Okay, so now let me do this. Let me go to 14. He will build an house. This is not David, but Solomon. For my name is Yahweh's. Who is Solomon? Solomon Yahweh Shai. He was a man that lived and died and committed sin. My name, the name right there is Yahweh, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. It's going to be Yahweh Shai's throne forever and ever. When did he first sit on the throne as a king? When he was Solomon. Why isn't he sitting on the throne as a king now? Because the kingdom is on pause. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. And we're joint heirs, so we're his sons too. If he committed iniquity, did not he build up those standing images to those wives that were following these different gods? So that's sin. Idolatry, sacrilege, whatever you want to call it. I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. So did not Solomon commit iniquity? The answer is yes. Did the Most High chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men? No. So that could, if it never happened, that means the Most High lied. The Most High lied right here. It never happened. When did it happen? He died peacefully, and his son Rehoboam became king in his stead. Nobody grabbed him and tortured him and beat him with rods. So when did that happen? Christians could never answer that. So did he wink at Solomon? Yes, he did. Anyway, or overlooked him. He said, I'm overlooked that. Well, King David committed adultery and murder. And it says he murdered, even though he didn't actually murder, he set him up. But Samuel said, you committed adultery with a man's wife, and you murdered that man. That's the wording. Meaning he set him up to get murdered. He put a hit out on him. When you get a hit man and he takes a guy out, and they find out that this guy put a contract on him, they're going to get the hit man, and they're going to get the man that put out the hit, even though he didn't pull the trigger, but he murdered him. He put the order out there. He paid for him to get murdered. Okay, so let me see. Let me come back over here. So the Most High does wink at us, but eventually gets us. You know, we didn't suffer all the curses after we got out, directly after we got out of the wilderness, or while we was in 40 years in the wilderness. We didn't go through the curses, yokes of iron, ships, and so forth. That took generation after so that's another thing. Wait a minute. When Moses, this is that wink thing. If you can find a debate, you can look at it yourself. The Christian guy was Jake. He was going into the wink. The Most High ain't never winked with Israel. Well, wait a minute. Or overlooked Israel. In the wilderness, he said you're gonna be cursed for giving them the laws, and you're gonna be cursed if you don't keep this law and that law. Well, they never got cursed. The Israelites in the wilderness, they never went in slave ships. Their children never went. Children never went in slave ships. When did they go into slave ships? Many generations after. So Christians, that's why I don't understand Captain Tazariak. I guess he likes the limelight. But I wouldn't talk. I ain't got nothing to say to a Christian. You know, tell him to go, take a long walk off a short pier with a great millstone wrapped around your neck. So anyway, my first title, I said in the Hebrew, I want a happy meal. And I said that in Hebrew. This is from, okay, so right here it says the pure language is not in the earth today, IUIC. The pure language is in the earth today, and I just spoke it. I said I want a happy meal in Hebrew, and you're gonna find out why. Why'd you say happy meal? Of all things you can say, why'd you say? You'll see in the video. And that's an automatic cut. Like I said, I'm a little all over the place, but that's okay too. This individual goes by the name of San Miguel, or San Miguel TV. I don't know his Hebrew name. He was part of that mess when, Tazadakia was over that school. And a lot of people left because they said this is BS. He's originally from New York, but he relocated to Florida. Matter of fact, he said he's coming up to New York come July. I listened to part of this. I'm not mad at him because he got fucked over. That's what he got so mad that it made him not believe in the Most High. But he knows that there's a Most High because he's an Israelite, and it's in his spirit. It's in your spirit to believe in the Most High. You can lie to yourself. Hey, there's Jake men that dress up in a woman, and chop their rod off and tell you up and down that they're women. You ain't no damn woman. Because deep down, you know you're a man. Anyway, I'm going to let you listen to, he going to have a guest on. And the guest is going to use the salute that we still use. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Barakatah, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Barakatum. And then San Miguel's going to come back with the new salute, and Yahushai's name is not in it. So let's listen and see. When Nate says the Hebrew's not important and we don't have to have the Hebrew and we don't know the Hebrew, and the guy in the video, the guy said if you think you know the Hebrew, go to McDonald's and ask for a Happy Meal in Hebrew. I just said it. I asked for a Happy Meal in Hebrew. I said the pure language is not in the earth. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If we're calling on the name of the Most High, Yahweh and Yahushai, A lot of words that we use, that even small hats use those same words. If they'll say ha, which is the. We say ha, which is the. They say Shem, which is name. We say Shum, which is name. So you listen to these small hats. I used to be around them all the time. When they speak, I picked up a lot of those words. So do we speak Hebrew? Yes, we speak Hebrew. If a baby says mama, dada, he's speaking. Yeah, he knows 2 words or 5 words, 3 words. Then about a month later, he knows maybe 10 words. He's speaking already. That's when you see, if he was brought up in a Spanish household, he'll only speak Spanish. English household, he'll only speak English. Bilingual household, he'll speak Spanish and be fluent in Spanish and English. You got a lot of like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans that their parents, their grandparents speak more. That's all they know is Spanish. And the sons and daughters, they know Spanish, but sometimes they get stuck on words. There's actually Puerto Ricans out there that can speak very few words in Spanish because their parents, their grandparents, and their great-grandparents spoke it, but their parents didn't speak it as much. And so they hardly ever speak it. They know a couple of words. I know that for a fact. So let me just let this play. And, my conclusion, my theory is that Bishop Nate did the same thing that Tazadaka did. He took a bag. Because why would you be so adamant about, we don't know the name, you shouldn't be using the name, or say Christ? Because there's power in the name Yahweh Shai. There's power in that name. And one scripture cut all them guys in Isaiah chapter 19, when it speaks about the land of Canaan. What is it talking about? They'll tell you, that's talking about America. Canaan, Babylon, Assyria, Egypt, Sodom, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. One of the names is Egypt. Deuteronomy 28:68. You should go into Egypt again. Now, IUIC said, well, Egypt means, they'll say it means bondage. It doesn't mean bondage, but it's associated with bondage. So Egypt, the ships are America. So this is the modern day Egypt. They go to Deuteronomy 28:68. Then they would go to Revelation 11, verse 8. It says that this place is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Egypt is associated with bondage, and Sodom is associated with that thing that people do in this country. And by the way, Trump has not deported any Moes. He haven't said nothing against Moes. He has no problem with Moes. He has problems with the Israelites. So let's roll this beautiful beam footage.
And please welcome to the stage. What's good, sir?
Shalom. Yo, Shem Shbrakatha.
Abanau Bashem Yahweh Brakatha, sir.
Just play that again.
Shbrakatha.
Sir.
Shalom. Yo, Shem Shbrakatha.
So what he said was the old way. We used to say it the one way, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. So watch how Miguel says it.
Call elements to it. And please come to the
See
stage.
these guys that fall out? I understand why he fall out. Why he don't want to do it. He saw it through this guy. A lot of them did. But you know what he's now? He's a wandering soul. Jude. He's a wandering soul. So he's been out of this thing for years. I don't know, 10 years, 12, I don't know. But he left a long time ago, and he tried to live his normal life, but his whole thing is dedicated to getting... Now, he's not mad at the ICGJC. He's mad at all Israel. He got on me. He got on pretty much everybody. What did I ever do to you? And he's an atheist. He's an admitted atheist. So he would be classified as a wandering soul. He's a wandering soul. He can't go back. He can't go back to. He's like the guy in the movie Ghost, where the guy was trying to grab a cigarette. The guy on the train. Where I guess he punched this guy in the face. What's this dude? The actor, he died. He died a long time ago. He's a ghost. He's a ghost now. But this guy saw a pack of Newports. And he's trying to open it up, but he's a ghost. So that's this guy. He's a wandering soul. Because souls wander. I know that for a fact. I experienced it. Souls wander. Dead souls wander for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. They'll do things in the house. Why this happened? Because that somebody just died and they're wandering around your house. Till the spirit shows them, okay, come on up to the heavens.
What's good, sir?
Shalom. Yo, Shem Shpurgatha.
Habanao Bashem Yahweh Brakatha, sir.
Yo, Shem Shpurgatha.
Habanao Bashem Yahweh Brakatha, sir.
Sound like he said habanero.
Shem Shpurgatha.
Habanao Bashem Yahweh Brakatha, sir.
Yo, Shem Shpurgatha.
Habanao Bashem Yahweh
Bashem means in the name. He says Yahweh.
Habanao Bashem Yahweh Brakatha, sir.
Let's hear it again.
Yo, Shem Shpurgatha.
Habanao Bashem Yahweh Brakatha, sir.
So they took out the name Yahweh Shai altogether, because you can call on Yahweh all you want. He's not going to listen to you. You need a mediator, middleman, a gatekeeper. What's that in Galatians 3? Mediator. That's Yahweh Shai. In order to come to Yahweh, you got to go through Yahweh Shai. Even Yahweh Shai said that. You got in order to go to the Father. St. John 4. I believe that's St. John 4 and 6. So you heard it. This is all I wanted from this. So now, let's come over here. Okay, let's put up a soldier Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, subscribe and be edified. The pure language is not in the earth today. IUIC. What name are we to call on during time of evil? What to call on the name Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. If the Most High is coming to deliver us, he raised up prophets, like he raised up Moses. The first thing Moses asked was, what's your name? And he knew that was one of the names, Yahweh, but also Al-Shadya and other titles that the Most High had, the Terrible One, whatever. The Most High gave him his name. He said, my name is Yahweh, and this is my name forever. He said that in his Exodus 3 and Exodus chapter 2. Now these guys are saying, I don't remember if they're saying Yahweh Shai is going to have a new name or Yahweh is going to have a new name. But when you look up the word new can mean refreshed. It can mean refreshed. Like the new moon, it doesn't mean that the moon is destroyed and the angels build another moon. The moon is always up there. It gets refreshed when you see the moon disappear. Oh, the moon is not here. Then you see a light crescent. Then you see the crescent grow. That's called waxing. When the moon grows or looks like it's growing, it's called waxing. When it's getting, the light is getting smaller, it's called waning. So when does that process take place? When the moon is dark. See, IUIC teaches that the new moon is the full moon, which they're clearly going off on, and that's super easy to debunk what they're saying. That's why I've been asking the question to Bishop Nate. He said the 3 hours of darkness. The 3 hours of darkness is the when the Messiah was on the cross was an eclipse. He did not mention whether it was a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. He's seen my videos. I said it plenty of times. I'm pretty sure he saw the video. He's not going to answer because he knows I got him. That's all I need from him. If any of y'all roll up on any of them guys, ask them when Bishop Nate made that statement. This is about a month and a half ago. He made the statement, the 3 hours of darkness. He said it was an eclipse. When Esau or the scientists talk about eclipse, they don't say it's an eclipse. They'll say there was a solar eclipse. That was a lunar eclipse. There's 2 types of eclipse. There's not 3 types of eclipses. There's only 2 types of eclipse. An eclipse, solar or lunar. So what is it, Nate? You did admit that was an eclipse, but please tell me this Saturday. Oh, you can come right on the comment board. All right. What's this guy? Deacon Ethan. Was it a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse? Deacon Asaph. Was it a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse? Bishop Yawasab. Was it a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse? Bishop Kanai Gabar, which is, by the way, Kanai Gabar is ancient Paleo-Hebrew. He didn't drop it. Okay, I'm going to drop a spoon. When it goes ting, tong, tong, that's what I'm going to call you. No. He had that name. He has a Hebrew name. Kanai Gabar. Yawasap is a Paleo-Hebrew name. Yawasap. That's when you read the scriptures, it's Joseph, which means he will add. Yawasap. So he kept that name, which Nate called Ebonics. So guess what? Yawasap got an Ebonics name, and Kanai Gabar got a Ebonics name. So, I mean, and then, if your name is Chris, what are you gonna call a guy that's named Chris? Oh, you got to change your name. Well, no, Chris is another way of saying Christ. If you say Most High and Christ bless, you can say Most High and Chris bless, because it means the same way. It's spoken a little different. So I deem them as a confused bunch of Israelites that's lost. So let me let this play.
Shai has called. All right, remember the scripture says that no man, Yahweh Shai said, no man can come unto me except my Father which sent me draw him unto me. So you got to be drawn to Yahweh Shai by.
Yep, that's St. John 6.
Yahweh, anyway. It says, in the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. In the midst of the church. In this church is talking about Yahweh Shai's church. All right, his elect. This is actually reiterated in Hebrews 2, saying, I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee.
That's talking about back then, and it's talking about now.
So the name is going to be declared whether people like it or not, whether people believe it or not.
In the Hebrew.
Okay? And it will be declared. It's not going to be declared in the English.
Let me do this. Let me actually go to... And I got a bunch of scriptures. I put the list together. I got a list of scriptures which I have in my bag. But there's a bunch of scriptures already in my head on the name. Okay, so let me go to Isaiah 19. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm gonna do my 50-minute walk in a little bit. The other day I did it with a 20-pound weighted vest on it, with no big deal. And now I'm sore, so I'm not gonna do it today. So I'm just doing this right now. Then I'll go back to the 20-pound weighted vest. Let me see. Let Canaan. This is what I want. Canaan. Okay, so here we go. I'll start from 15. Maybe. Okay, so this Canaan, or this Egypt, also known as Canaan, because this is Canaan. The Canaanites first landed over here, got supplies for King Solomon. So it was named Canaan because the Canaanites were here. So that's the extension of the Canaan back in the east. 14th verse. Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. It's talking about here in Babylon. And they have caused Egypt to err in every work. Like everything's going to backfire on this guy. He's going to lead everything that Trump is doing now. It's going to lead to the microchip. That's when all you camps will believe it, and that's when all you camps will realize that GMS was always right. And that's in other words, everything gonna come to pass, and you're gonna clearly see it. He's gonna make things come. Most are using him to make things come to pass. He's gonna push that chip, and then he's gonna usher in the Third World War, which is a war of Armageddon. Which the lake of fire is America. So don't listen to these other people. They're going off. That's if the Most High's timetable is to deliver us and bring the destruction within the next 4 years. If his plan is to bring it in 2032, that means you would have to have another president, or he can declare himself. He's even talking about being third president. He's doing what the fuck he wants to do. He's doing what somebody must have tore up the Magna Carta. Look that up. Because he's sitting there as a king post Magna Carta. Look that up. As a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. That's talking about Babylon the Great. The magic ain't working no more. That's why you got the BRICS nations. That's why you got these other alliances that have strong militaries. The Russians are battle tested, man. They've been having a war. They've been going back and forth with Ukraine for a number of years. So they're battle tested. And they're stronger than the Edomite over here. And most Jakes too. Go to the UFC. Them Russians, they taking all them belts. They fighting Jake. They ain't afraid of Jake. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head unemployment or tell branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be like unto woman. So we know that's talking about Babylon. The men are forborn to fight. And it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh. You know when somebody gonna kick your ass, they gonna clap their hands. Nigga, you do a woman, they clapping their hands, or they put their finger in your face and they damn near they might mush your face. When a dude get that close with his fingers, you better take him down. Too close for comfort, which he shaketh over it. So he's using us. Isaiah 13, shake the hand. So we cursing them out. We're bringing receipts against them. 17 verse. And the land of Yahweh shall be a terror. Now, what does it mean the land of Yahweh shall be a terror? That the Most High going to rile up that lion Judah, pursuant to Genesis 49. Unto Egypt, everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of Yahweh, because it's Yahweh's plans, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's plan of hosts, which he hath determined against it. Determined against who? He determined to take this place out. It's going to get worse before it gets worse. So it's talking, any member of the IUIC that's worth his salt will tell you that this Egypt in Isaiah 19 is referring to Babylon the Great. In that day shall 5 cities of the land of Egypt. The land of Egypt is talking about what? Spiritual, known spiritually as Sodom and Egypt. The new Egypt is Babylon the Great, the U.S. It says, in that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan. What's the language of Canaan? Ancient Hebrew, Paleo-Hebrew. Go to Google. And swear by Yahweh of hosts. So it says if they're going to speak the language of Hebrew, when they call on the name of Yahweh, are they going to call him Most High and Christ blessed? Are they going to call him Jehovah? No, they're going to call on the name Yahweh. Any member of the IUIC will tell you that this is taught when it says Egypt, from the very first verse, when it keeps saying Egypt this, and then it says 5 cities or provinces in the land of Egypt shall speak. Does it mean the land gonna speak Hebrew? You walking down the street and the tree says Shalom, Ak? No, it's talking about the inhabitants on that land shall speak Hebrew. It's talking about us. And swear by Yahweh of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. This is also known as the city of destruction because it's going to be destroyed, utterly destroyed. In that day shall there be an altar to Yahweh. What's the altar? The teachers. In the middle of the land of Egypt. That's why you got the different camps. Oh, this right here shows you that the focus is on Egypt, not Papua New Guinea. And a pillar is that holds up a house. The house is this truth. You know, Israel makes up that house. We each represent a brick. At the border thereof to Yahweh. And it shall be for a sign. And for what's going to be for a sign? You're going to know that the Israelites done woke up because they're starting to speak Hebrew. And they're starting to condemn this place. 20. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Yahweh of hosts in the land of Egypt, America. For they shall cry unto Yahweh. In what language? The Hebrew. Go back to the 18th verse. Because of the oppressor. Who's the oppressor? Esau, number 1 on the list. And he shall send them a savior. Who's a savior? And a great one, and he shall deliver them. He's going to deliver them from where? From Egypt. What Egypt is it talking about? Not ancient Egypt, it's talking about the new Egypt. Let's read on. And Yahweh shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know Yahweh. The Israelites that live in Babylon in that day, and shall do sacrifices and oblation. They're going to pray to the Most High. And the sacrifice is us. Romans 12. We have become that sacrifice. Men have left their women, or their women gave them a hard time, and their women left, they didn't follow. Well, you got to follow me. And nope, they sacrifice themselves to do this work. Yeah, they shall vow a vow unto Yahweh and perform it. What's the vow? We're going to push this word. In Egypt, Nate, the focus is in Egypt. The focus is in Egypt. The focus is in Egypt. Also known as Babylon, also known as Assyria, also known as Sodom, also known as Canaan. Not Papua New Guinea, not the Solomon Islands, not Japan. Oh, we believe there's 5 Israelites that live in Japan. They got chinky eyes, and we're going to go over there and say, no, you dumbass. You should be concerned about what eclipse came in when Yahweh was on the cross. Was it a solar or lunar eclipse? So now let's listen right here.
It's going to be declared in the language of Canaan, as we're going to get here in a second. But let's go back to the video.
Hebrew, and I asked him, can you say, I want a happy meal in Hebrew? I want a happy.
Why would somebody want to say, I want a happy meal
Well,
in
I
Hebrew?
said it. That's part of my title. I said I want a Happy Meal because he said, okay, you speak Hebrew? I'd say I want a Happy Meal in Hebrew. And I said it. I said I want a Happy Meal in Hebrew. Let me say it again, real slow. My Hebrew's rusty, but I used to speak it fluent. I used to speak it. I had command of like 350, 400 words or more. And me and Ariel, we used to speak it. High Priest Ariel can speak to them small hats in their language. We had another brother, since vocab said we don't know the real Hebrew and we can't speak to them small hats. We had a brother named Shalimar that surpassed Ariel in Hebrew, and he was able to speak the ancient Hebrew fluently and speak to have a full conversation for hours with a small hat. Ariel wrote a sign in the Assyrian script. That was a big sign, and we went in front of the synagogue, and they read that shit, and they said, "What the hell you call us dogs?" So Ariel knew that Hebrew. He got rusty. What made him speak that Hebrew better was myself and Shalimar, because we used to go to speaking on the train, and we would converse. No, we got to speak in Hebrew, but the ancient Hebrew. But Ariel knew the Hebrew that the small hats do, especially Shalimar. Especially Shalimar. If you're old school, you would know Shalimar. He read the Hebrew like you read the English. And he knew every word. He had command of the whole language. So shut the fuck up, vocab. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. So the guy said, can you speak? Can you say, I want a Happy Meal? Anya, rataza, macal, ahshar. I want a Happy Meal in Hebrew. I just said it in Hebrew. But let's say you can't say it, but you know enough to say shalom, or you know enough to say your name in the Hebrew, or you know a couple of Shabbat. You know enough to say that. Well, you speak in Hebrew. And when you go back to Isaiah 19, when it says they shall speak the language of the Canaanites, and then they're going to swear, I'm sorry. Let me do this. Let me find it. Okay. They shall speak the language of Canaan, which is Hebrew, and swear by the Lord. In what language? In the Hebrew, in the language of Canaan. Let's look up the word swear. See, all these members of the IUIC are not the elect as it stands. I believe there's some of them that will wake up. If they are, they're going to wake up out of this. They're going to leave Bishop Nate. Okay, let's look up the word swear. So they're going to speak Hebrew, and then they're going to swear. So if they're going to swear to the Lord, what language are they going to swear to the Lord in? Okay, so the word there is shabai, primitive root, to swear, adjure, to swear, take an oath. In other words, when you come in this truth, you take an oath that I'm going to go out on the highways and the byways, and I'm going to push this word until the ships come and deliver me. He that endureth to the end shall be saved. The ones of you that went and turned your back and went into the world, you broke that oath with the Most High. So you're going to die. You're going to get a chip. You know, guys like Yum Yum and Ramayallah and others, many of you other guys, every last one of you that turn your back on them, even though you still know you're an Israelite, you ain't doing the work. You broke your oath. You made a foolish vow. It says to swear of, the word there is supposed to be Yahweh. No, we know that there's no J. That's a fact. The J didn't come about as an extension of the I, and to give you exact year and the name. What's his name? Tricino. In 1524, he set up what was called a Renaissance alphabet. Your Greek, your Hebrew, your Latin. I know the Hebrew and the Greek. I believe the Latin as well. It was 22 letters, because the Greek and the Latin is based on the Hebrew. Your ABCs that you learn in first grade, the first letter they teach you is A. It's a ancient Hebrew symbol that's turned kind of around upside down, which represent the head of a cattle. And the sound that you make, and the teacher made us say, okay, what is that, an A? How do you make the sound? Ah. Ah is Hebrew. What's that, a B? How do you make the sound? Ba. Ba is in Hebrew. So J shouldn't be here. It should be Yah. And V shouldn't be there. It should be Yah. Yahweh. Yahweh. I'm sorry, Wah. Yahweh. To swear of Yahweh by himself. In the Hebrew, to curse, to cause to take an oath, to adjure. Right, swear, take an oath, make a vow. So it said it in that order. Let me come on back. And it's even in the law, you can't call on any other God. Now, if Nate would have said the man with no name, the God with no name, we can accept that. That's what happened in Acts 17. Paul said they had a placard up to the unknown God. In other words, those men of Athens, which were Israelites, which didn't know that they were Israelites, but they were Israelites. They got caught up in that mess during the Maccabees and Antiochus Epiphanes. So they were Greek. They were like the black consciousness people today. So they knew that there was a power. They just didn't know his name. And the Apostle Paul said, "I'm going to declare that placard. I'm going to give you his name." So it says, "They shall speak the language of Canaan," and once they start speaking the language of Canaan, which is Hebrew, and swear to Yahweh. They're going to speak that language first, then they're going to swear, make an oath to Yahweh. So what do you mean there's no Hebrew? We are speaking Hebrew. A newborn baby, a baby that's a couple months old, 6 months old, they start saying mama, dada, food, cat, doggy. They're speaking English. Even though their vocabulary is limited, they're speaking. 6 months they don't speak, they don't say a word, you know that there's some issues there. And you get worried. So now let's listen. Now these people are doing that because they've been indoctrinated by the IUIC. Now, who does Nate answer to? We don't know. We don't know who Tazadakia answered to, but we know he answered to somebody.
Hebrew. Why would somebody want to go to? First and foremost, you shouldn't be eating that shit anyway. But secondly, I understand why he said that. But not everybody's speaking the Hebrew language.
Yeah, because this individual on the top of his hat is Yahweh. He's not part of us. The ancient Hebrew is written wrong. The Yah is supposed to be the smallest character in the Hebrew alphabet. Even Yahweh Shai said that in Matthew 5.
You see? Would you go say I want a Happy Meal in would you say I want a Happy Meal in Dutch? You know? No. Would you say that I want a Happy Meal in Mandarin language?
Small hats ask for a Happy Meal in Hebrew and modern Hebrew.
No. Why? Because you can't say it. You don't know how to. You see? So just because somebody doesn't know how to say a complete full sentence in the Hebrew tongue doesn't mean that we wouldn't have the names of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. That's not true. Now this individual here on the screen, I don't know who this guy is. On his hat,
Female in Hebrew.
On his hat, you clearly. I'm gonna try to pause it.
I'm still learning Hebrew.
Just like a newborn baby, a 6-month-old baby, they're still learning. If you get a college professor to use these big words or whatever on a baby, the mother's gonna say he's just a baby. He doesn't know. But if he knows, hey, IUIC, they say shalom. Why don't they just say peace? What? If you don't believe me, every time Nate, 12 tribes worldwide, 12 tribes worldwide, 12 tribes worldwide, shalom. Wait a minute, what the hell is this shalom? That's Hebrew. You should have said peace. And you shouldn't say Christ. That's Christ. Christos is Latin and Greek. And Greek is Christos. Latin is Christos or something like that, but they're close. It means to anoint. So why don't you just say Most High and anointed bless? Jesus is not even a word.
Now on his hat, you clearly see that.
See, this is written wrong. The wa is written wrong, and the ya is written wrong. The ya is supposed to be up here and supposed to be half the size of all the other characters.
The name Yahweh on his hat. You know. You see. So he knows.
He's
the
a
name.
guy that just, he watched some videos. He probably some nigga was selling a hat and he purchased the hat, $50 or whatever, and now he's a man. Because you're gonna have the elect that took that vow, that swore, Isaiah 19. Then they're gonna do this work. You got other casual Israelites. He would most likely be a casual Israelite, but he might act like he's a prophet
of the Lord. Now, how does he pronounce the name of Yahweh as Yahweh? I don't think so. I think he pronounces it Yahuwah. But the point is, he said, I'm still learning. He said, I don't know how to say I want a happy meal in Hebrew. I'm still learning the Hebrew. Which this is just right here what you see from the IUIC, which I don't know how old this video is, but this is what you see from the IUIC as a stance of being over.
These guys are arrogant bastards. These guys think they know it all because they got big numbers. Scriptures say in the law, this is the law, follow not in multitude to do evil. If Nate says something, or Bishop Nate says something that's off, you're supposed to say, well, no, I don't see that. You can't do that because they'll put a target on your back. They'll get rid of you. They'll take your rank. So, and the scriptures say one man esteemeth over another, and both men esteem alike. I'm just merely paraphrasing it. The Most High said in what is that? Isaiah 34 verse 16, around about the 16th verse. He goes into the Most High gave a little to one prophet. For example, the Most High gave enough information to Obadiah, which the book Obadiah is a major book. It's only one chapter long, but it's major information. Then he turned around and gave Jeremiah over 50 books. He gave Isaiah over 60 books. He gave Joel, what was it, three books? I can look at it. Let me go to Joel. Joel, chapter 5. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, your request for chapter 5 was changed to the last chapter. I did that for a purpose. Joel only got 3 chapters. Amos, 9 chapters. Here you got Isaiah, which I believe is 66 chapters. Let me do this. Isaiah 66. Now, let me do this. See? We went into Jeremiah 1. Isaiah had 66 books. Obadiah had 1 book. Jude had 1 book, which was 1 chapter long. So the Most High could have gave Isaiah 66 books of information, but the Most High could have gave something to Joel that he didn't give to Isaiah, and Joel can say, nope, you're going off on that. Most High gave that to me. Matter of fact, let's go over here. Isaiah 34. I believe that's 16 or thereabouts. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, not one of these shall fail, none shall one for my mouth hath commanded, and he hath cast the lot for them. His hands divided by line possess. Let me do this. Right, the book is the scriptures, and he hath cast the lot for them, the prophets, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever, which is the book from generation to generation. Let me go ahead and go into this in the NLT. I'm going to go to the 16 and 17 verse. Search the book of Yahweh and see what he will do. Not one of these birds and animals will be missing, and none shall lack a mate. For the Lord has promised this, his spirit will make it all come true. In other words, the prophecy is going to come true. When you go to the first verse on down to the 15th verse, the Lord is saying all this is going to come to pass. He has surveyed and divided the land and deeded it over to those creatures. They shall possess it forever from generation to generation. In other words, nobody's going to possess that land. It's written differently in, let me do it in the, let me go to the amplified version. Seek from the book of the Lord and read, not one of these creatures will be missing. In other words, the prophecy is going to be fulfilled even to the point of animals coming in there. None will lack its mate, for his mouth is commanded, and the spirit that has gathered them. The Lord hath cast a lot of them, and his hand hath divided and appointed Edom. The different right here, Edom to be the wilderness, meaning the land of Edom. This is the new land of Edom. Wild beasts by measuring line. They will possess it forever from generation to generation. In other words, the only thing going to be in America are these desert-like creatures. It's not going to be a man that's going to it's going to be the forbidden zone. So let's come back over here. The blind followers of IUIC, they learned something from the headmaster, which is Nate, Bishop Nate, and they don't question it. They just do it. Whatever he says, I got it. I'll memorize it and I'll regurgitate it just like everybody else in IUIC. Righteous. This is why in Detroit, when the pastor, Mike, Elder Mike, Pastor Mike, he rolled up on him in Detroit. He asked him a question. He said, who's the king in Deuteronomy 28 and 68? I mean, Deuteronomy 28 and 36. And they couldn't answer it. They couldn't answer it. You know why? Because Nate didn't break it down to them. They only go as far as what Nate told them to how to break this down, If Nate didn't go into that, they're not going to make it up. I don't know if they went and covered that. I don't know if you roll up on one of them now. If Elder Mike roll up on Pastor Mike roll up on them now. If you ask them the same question, do they have the answer? Did they make up something? And if they call themselves knowing how to break it down, is it King David? Is it Moses? Is it Saul? Is it Solomon? I'm talking about Deuteronomy 28 and 68. See, when you do these videos, the world is watching. The world is watching. So you better get your facts together, bruh.
Do you know how to say I need a happy meal in Hebrew? Well, just because you don't know how to say that now we shouldn't be speaking the Hebrew because we don't know how to speak it 100% fluent.
But if you ask the guy his name, he's gonna give you a hillbilly Hebrew name, Zedekiah or Jeremiah.
That's complete madness.
He couldn't say it. Asked him, is it the pure language? He said,
see how this guy is speaking? He's full of pride and full of arrogancy, and he's, as Paul said, wise in their own conceit. They say we got the truth because Bishop Nate gave us a 100% truth, and then whatever we say is the truth because we got 10,000 people to show you that we the best camp out there. The scriptures speak about numbers, man. Remember what happened with David when he numbered Israel? He caused Joab to number, and Joab came against him. So no, we can't do that. He said, "Look, I'm making an order to do it." Look at how he's sitting. He just knows, man, he'll get fucked up in the spirit. These guys are gonna get fucked up in the spirit. They're gonna wake up to the fact. You know when they woke up, when they was in Kenya and they was throwing them tear gas, they were shooting. The church, the police gave them tear. No, you heard the boom. You heard they were shooting tear gas canisters at your ass and throwing rocks at you, and you didn't stand firm. You ran.
The pure language.
So yeah.
And yes, the Hebrew tongue is the pure language, man. That's the language of the heavens.
And we will be speaking this pure language in Egypt, in the land. 5 cities of Egypt or provinces of Egypt shall speak the language of Canaan. What is the language of Canaan? Hebrew.
Let's what language did Yahushua speak unto the
apostle? I know
apostle?
certain words in Japanese. I used to know a lot of words in Japanese. I forgot most of them words, but I know some words in Japanese. So that means I can speak Japanese, but I can't speak it fluently.
Paul. Okay. Whenever the apostle Paul got knocked off the horse, right. This is Acts 26:14. This is the apostle Paul recounting.
Everybody said he got knocked up. He didn't get knocked. Let me go to that. He didn't really get knocked off the horse. Okay, let's go to Acts 26. But that's what people say. He got knocked off the horse. Let's see if I'm correct. I say he didn't get knocked off the horse, but everybody says he got knocked off the horse. Let me see. Acts 26. Acts 26. Okay, let me go to the point. At noonday, O king. He was Herod Agrippa, one of the members of the Herodian dynasty. And by the way, he referred to him as king. King just means ruler. A governor is a king. A mayor is a king. Regional kings. The Athenians in the ancient world in Sparta, they were all kings of various city-states. So they had a bunch of kings, and they would get together and hash out what they had to hash out. Sort of like a senate. It says, at midday, this is the Apostle Paul speaking, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven above the brightness of the sun. Yahushua was in the ship, shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to, well, it says fallen to the earth. We were all fallen to the earth. It didn't say knock down. It said when we were all fallen to the earth. You know, when there's gunfire, everybody falls to the earth, right? Don't mean that a bullet hit you. It's like, yeah, the Yahushua hit a beam of light and knocked Paul. No, they jumped down and they said, "What the hell is that?" He said it was brighter than the sun. Where is that? Did he say? Yeah, he said above the brightness of the sun. So that was some hot heat. That was some hot light where it blinded you. He also suffered blindness for 3 days. UFO people that encountered UFOs, close encounter of the third kind, close encounter of the fourth kind. That means you didn't see a UFO. Close encounter of the first kind is you seen a UFO. Oh, that's a UFO. Close encounter of the second kind, I believe they leave some evidence. Close encounter of the third kind is when it's that close where it affects you. It may give you a suntan. And I believe that's what happened to the movie with this guy, the Ultimate J. I forget this guy's name. It'll come back to me. But anyway, when you go into these documentaries about UFOs, Close Encounter of the Third Kind, Close Encounter of the Fourth Kind, I believe, is when you go in the ship. I believe the fifth time is when the angels put you to death, or something like that, the sixth kind. So the Apostle Paul and the men around him had a close encounter of the third kind. And that brightness, he looked up in there and he bowed his head down. You see that bright light, and he was suffering from a blindness, temporary blindness from UFO. You got many witnesses that say, I was blind for 2 days. I was blind for 3 days. It said, above the sun shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, it doesn't mean that they shot the Lord Yahweh shot a beat. They went down. They said, duck. Gunfire. Duck. When in the hood, when you hear gunfire, you duck. Right? I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the what? In the Hebrew tongue. This proves that Paul spoke Hebrew. Some of y'all say, I believe some GMS, y'all got to stop that. He spoke Latin. Nope, he didn't speak Latin. No evidence that he spoke Latin. If he spoke Latin, there's no evidence of it. He spoke fluent Hebrew and he spoke fluent Greek. And there was a reason why he was able to speak Greek and the other apostles wasn't able. Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against a prick. As you read down, it said he was blind. Let me see if I can find that. Deliver thee from the people and from the Gentiles unto whom I have sent thee. Those Gentiles, for you Christians out there, are Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. Let me do this. Okay. Let me see. Blind. Okay. Let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. Okay, I got to get into this. How to deal with flow. Let me do this. I'm a little bit long, but bear with me. Okay. I haven't even been keeping up with the NBA. Did the Knicks make it or what? I have been keeping up with it this year. Anyway. Did the Apostle Paul go blind? Yes, Saul of Tarsus, later known as Paul, was temporarily blinded by a bright light on the road to Damascus. It was a trade route. Why don't they give you the actual scripture? Verse. Okay, so this is this is Acts 9:8. And look how he got Paul looking. The Bible passes Paul's blindness. Found. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. Let me do it this way. Okay, it's in the Bible. Saul got up from the ground. Okay, King James. And Saul rose from the earth, and when his eyes were open, he saw no man, but they led him by the hand and brought him to Damascus. Let me do this. Acts 9:8. So we just got finished reading Acts 26. The conversion of Saul. And the man which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. Goes into more detail right here. Okay, and as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, which is a trade route. And suddenly there shined around about him a light from heaven, and he fell to the earth. He wasn't knocked off the horse like they all did. 26, they all fell to the ground. So he jumped off the horse and got ducked and covered, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? 26th chapter tells us he spoke in Hebrew. And when he said, thou blind Lord, I am ahshar, persecuted, it's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And he trembled and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me do? And the Lord, Kairos, the word there is Kairos, arise and go into the city, and shall be told thee what thou must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. And Saul rose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man, but they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And they call it like UFO blindness, and he was 3 days without sight. He was temporarily blind because of that bright light, and neither did eat nor drink. He was on a fast. And there was a certain disciple, Damascus, named Ananias, and to him said the Lord in a vision, Ananias, and he said, behold, I am here, Lord. So this guy had to instruct. See, y'all don't know that, you Christians. Ananias had to instruct him, because he said, you're going to go to this man, he's going to tell you what you got to do. He's going to give you a mission. And then from that point on, Yahushua started dealing with him straight up. That's why the Apostle Peter bigged him up in 2 Peter 3. We always go to that 15 verse on down. He said he goes over a lot of people's head with this information that he got. See, the Yahushua wasn't dealing with Peter and John and them. He gave them information, but he was dealing directly with, he was building up the Apostle Paul. So anyway, there's lessons within lessons, y'all.
His conversion, right? Acts 26 and 14. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue. So this is the Apostle Paul recounting whenever Yahushua came unto him. And this is Yahushua in his angelic glorious state. He spoke unto him in the Hebrew tongue. Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?
So anyway, you can watch the rest. I urge you to watch the rest of this. A lot of information. And in the beginning, he mentioned some of the scriptures dealing with the name, the importance of the name, early in this video, which I didn't really go into. Like I said, there was a lot of precepts in my mind. I got a list of at least 50 scriptures on the importance of calling on the name of the Lord, Yahushua, and so forth. So that kills this. Well, IUIC really took a bag, in my opinion, because you wouldn't change like that. Let's listen to this. This is an Israelite pastor from GOCC. tells Captain Tazaric we must teach white. Yeah, we can teach white people. We're going to teach them that they go Edomites. They're going into slavery. That's all we're going to teach them. You don't need classes to go into slavery.
So if I turned off Ada tomorrow, I would need to double my support teams.
Hey, that's me. I'm Pastor Michael Smith again. I forgot to tell you something. Your General Yohana,
right?
A great man, and he said a word years ago, and everybody is copying what he's saying today.
What'd he say?
What word do you think that is?
What? No sweat?
Nope.
I don't know. You gotta tell me.
Diabolical. I remember he said that when he was on the street preaching. I said, I see what. Yeah, and he's the first one that started speaking, saying that name. And every time I look on YouTube, everybody and their mama is saying diabolical.
That's right. Hold on 1 second.
Nigga, what rock did you crawl up from under? Ain't nobody saying no diabolical. I knew General Yohana personally. He ain't never used the term. I ain't never heard him say diabolical. What the fuck you talking about, man?
To Toombs in the chat, you say I'm not social. I like to call. The numbers pinned to the top. The number to call is 862-224-9027. You know what other word he said that other people should emulate? You know what other word?
What's that?
Yahweh.
Yeah, we're going to have to disagree to agree with that one.
Yeah, because I know, hey, slick, okay. Yeah, Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High, not Ahia. Yeah, GOCC, you know, even vocab don't get on GOCC. They're so far gone.
Where did you learn Ahia from? Where did you learn that from?
Come on. We know. You guys call them bubble-eyed blackfish.
Right, you talk about Rakah, right?
Actually, it was GMS that started that. GMS started that. We started calling them bubble-eyed blackfish.
Right? Now, who taught Rakah?
Well, we know, One West.
Yohana was in Philly. He came up under Yohana. All right?
General Yohana raised that boy. General Yohana raised him. And because General Yohana wouldn't start saving white people, that's why Rakah left and made up Ahia. So, I mean, why go to the student when you can just learn from the master? Just trying to help you out. That's all. Just trying to help you out. That's all. Just trying to help you out. Hey, while I got you, I've never asked a GOCC member this question, right? But I want to ask you this question now. How did you feel after that first battle that Rakah had with James White?
Dr. James Wright won that battle. That's why, if you're going to debate with somebody, watch all the information. See how they debate, the debating style, how much they know, whether they know the Hebrew, the Greek, maps, whatever. Find out their weaknesses, whatever the case may be.
You talking about that Jewish guy?
Yeah, then the first battle that Rakah had with James White, when he was arguing the Ahia, and then James White pulled out the Dead Sea Scrolls. Because remember, when he was arguing Ahia with the white boy, he was saying that the Jesuits and stuff changed the name and everything like that. And then James White pulled out the Dead Sea Scroll that predated the Jesuits, and it showed Yahweh. How did you feel after that first debate?
Yeah, we had to disagree to agree with that one.
No, I'm asking you how you felt. I don't even know how you felt to agree or disagree.
Because it's more to that. It's more to that, and that's why we stay stern on.
No, I'm not asking about the breakdown. I'm asking, how did you feel after the debate? Did you feel like he won? Did you feel like he lost? Like, how did you?
Yeah, I feel like he won.
The white boy?
Oh no.
You thought Ricard beat? So you thought in that first debate, you thought Ricard beat the white boy?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, you smoking crack, brother. You
know, I gotta stay behind the brother.
Yeah, you got. Nah, it's just a debate. Somebody losing the debate don't mean he ain't a brother. But when he battled that white boy mopped the floor with him. Yeah, wipe the floor.
Yeah, I gotta stand behind. I gotta stand behind who you call Bubble Eye Blackfish. I gotta stand behind.
You see, you the only one said that name. I called him Ricard the whole time.
Oh, well, okay.
When you go back, when you go and play this back, you gonna see you the only one called him Bubble Eye. I called him Ricard.
Well, that's what one West. That's what your leaders. That's what your leaders call them.
Yeah, I call him that. I just didn't call him that today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and then one more thing.
Wait, before you go into that, times, you can be a white boy. You can still call. I take white boys' questions. Don't be afraid. You saying you're not social, but you sure doing a lot of typing. You can just call the number 862-224-9027, and you can ask your question. You said you had one more. Go ahead, brother. Wait. I got wait. Let me rephrase this. Because you're in GOCC, are you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian?
Judah.
Okay, you Judah. I had to check because y'all got white boys in your white boy.
Well, wait a minute. Judah translate from the Hebrew Yahweh, which means the Most High's name. Thanks. So wouldn't it be Ahayada? Ahayada. That's how you get them. Okay, if the Most High's name is Ahaya, what does Judah mean? Break that word down.
Hey, do y'all? Let me ask you a question. Can y'all date white women in GOCC?
No. See, the thing about the scripture says, "Thou shalt say, surely our fathers have inherited life." Now,
Wait, before you go into it, let me just take this call. Hold on. But I'm gonna come right back to you. Hold on. Caller, hold on. So you were saying, surely our father inherited lies.
Yeah. So so it's not about hating white people.
I ain't say nothing about hating white people. I'm just asking, can you marry?
In the kingdom, we're gonna hate them because to beat their ass, you gotta hate somebody to beat your ass.
A
beat their ass.
White woman or white man in GOCC. That's what I'm asking.
Oh no, that's a no, and they cannot come to the Passover either.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I seen they Passover. They had Judite women with Edomite men, married as a couple. I seen it at least once. So that's all. That's bullshit. Poppycock.
So y'all white people don't come to y'all Passover?
Hell no.
But they in y'all congregation.
If there's a white person in the congregation, it's because we found out that they are not white.
Hey.
No, that's bullshit. No, the Bubble Eye Blackfish teaches that Edomites can make it.
What I need my audience to do, I need to get them pictures from GOCC and their events where they got the white people there. Y'all don't have white people in y'all school?
How do you know when it's time to end?
Anyway, I thought I was going to see something. I didn't say too much. Anyway, with that, Shalom, on to the next Shalom.